This is lesson 3 in Revit architecture. So we're going to look at to get an idea of the building. Appears to be curtain wall with some massive structural elements separating it. Again, this is they're asking you to note this fictitious here. This image is to give you an idea. So let's infer the climate and the interface, the building interface, interior to exterior, appears to be a curtain wall of glass with some spandrels, presumably obscuring views of the floor level. So it looks, whatever, curtain walls is largely the theme. So how do you model curtain walls in Revit? Generally, curtain walls are embedded within regular walls in order to create cells. You may have looked at the other competition. If I were to just draw full height curtain, I would draw them as walls, architecture walls, select the click on wall, and use the type selector to select a curtain wall. All right, so curtain wall is that sort of thing, and you have to split it up into grid lines and then make those grid lines mullions. I would use the generic curtain wall and do that. In order to embed them in these walls, what I would do, I'm in 3D, I'm in isometric view for illustration purposes. So the way to draw the curtain wall is select the curtain wall and then go into the type editor, and there's a few things you want to define. You want to select automatically embed, and you want to begin drawing some sills so it's embedded in the wall. Let's say it was 2 feet. And the top constraint, instead of going all the way up to level 2, let's provide some spandrel space for systems up there. The floor to ceiling height is 9.6. You have to keep that in mind when you're doing this. So I would say the top offset, 14 feet, is floor to floor. Less 9 feet would be 5. So I'm going to offset the top 6 feet. What does that give? What does that give me? Top offset -6. So that yields from 2 to 14 minus 6 is 8. Yields 8 feet of curtain wall. Right? I'm going to go to floor plan level 1 and begin drawing right inside of the wall. I could draw them in segments, but it's easier to just do this. I'll draw a little of it. I'll do it both ways, and we'll see what that gives. Let's go to this 3D view. Change this to shaded. So you can see where it's going through the columns. I'm going to leave this up. And we can modify this. We can select the curtain wall and change the top offset, say to -4. Right? -4. You got to remember that you're asked to imagine a 9'6" finished ceiling height. So you know there's so much you can do within that. If I go to south elevation, which is going to give me this facade, right? Let's go to this view. There's a curtain wall that I've selected, and I measured. Let's put in some dimensions. Aligned from floor to floor is 14. Level 1 to the underside of the current top offset for the curtain wall is 10 feet. So they're telling you that that your floor to ceiling height is 9'6". So this is what you're drawing into. Less than this, right? The top offset. Let's select the curtain. That's the wall in which it's embedded. Your top offset can't be 4 feet. It has to be -4-5, right? -4-6. Otherwise, your ceiling system is going to show in your windows. -4-6. Is that what we said? Yeah. So let's go back to the 3D view. Let me explain how curtains work. Requires you to first divide into grid lines. If I mouse over a vertical line, it's going to prompt me for a horizontal grid line. If I mouse over a horizontal line, it's going to prompt me for a vertical. So that's how you divide it up. In order to convert them to mullions, you go to Architecture, Mullion, and select the grid line and make them mullions. Okay, I'm assuming a knowledge of this. If we need to remedially provide that knowledge, let me know. Anyway, that's enough to go around the perimeter of this building and model the interface between interior and exterior using curtain wall Revit.